back to the channel. Today's video we're going to be replacing the clutch fan on this 93 Chevrolet S10 4.3. Clutch fan just pretty much wore out, and it just really needs to be replaced. So we got the new part in, Duralast brand. I believe this is a lifetime warranty. Don't correct me on that. Here's the part number, 922784. In the box comes with directions. You don't need them. Who needs them? Comes with a pair of bolts, nuts, 4 of them for this right here, these guys. And to get to this clutch fan, you're going to have to take the whole fan shroud off. And then you can access, and I just lost the bolts inside of the fender. Great. And you can access the clutch fan, which is underneath here. You see the fans right here. Problem is, you can see it's very easy to turn. I mean, I can spin this, and it'll spin a little bit. That's another sign of a bad clutch fan. Another one is, which is what this one does, is when it's cold, you fire up the vehicle, the clutch fan will kick in like it's supposed to, but however, whenever it's up to temperature and you're driving it around, and it's per se hot soaked, you crank it back up, the clutch fan doesn't kick in anymore, and my temperature is kind of overheating. It's gotten up to about 210, so that's not good. So tools you're going to need is a 10mm socket. Doesn't have to be a deep weld, and a couple extensions, because there's 2 bolts on this side of the fan shroud and 2 bolts on this side of the fan shroud, and then the top layer will come right off. And then you're going to need a 1/2 inch wrench to take the nuts off that hold the clutch fan to the water pump. Alright, so I'm going to try to keep the serpentine belt on. I'm not going to try to take that off, but if it pursues that way, then I'll take it off. However, as you can see right there, you see the bolts. There's one straight down and one right there. And then if you go on the other side, same thing. There's one right there and one right there. Go ahead and take those off really quick and then get it out. You got one here, one here, one here. You gotta take those out. Okay, so you take the radiator hose, push it up. There's a lip right here where it sits in its little groove so it doesn't rub or touch anything. Pretty much just pull up. The AC lines is what's kind of a pain. Just throw that out of the way. So now you can get to these nuts right here. One there, one there. There's 4. One there and then one on the bottom side. Just pretty much take this guy, put it on here, and knock it loose. Just like so. See? That's pretty much what it is for all 4 sides. Alright. I've got 3 of the bolts off of the water pump, but the belt is holding the very last one on because of the tension of it. So you're going to need a 17mm. Put it on this guy right here, tensioner, and you're going to go counterclockwise, which is to the left, just like so. Okay, keep my socket in. Alright. Water pump. See how it moves kind of freely. Then get to that last nut on the bottom and get it out. Pretty much after you get all the bolts out, you slide the fan back. Be careful not to hit the water pump, the radiator, especially if you just replaced it like I did. Pull this guy out. Set it on its back or front. Now you got to take these bolts out. These should be the same size, which is, yep, 1/2 inch or 13 millimeter. Take these out, and then okay, so this is pretty much what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the 13 mil 1/2 inch, put it on here. Then I'm going to take this guy and use it as a leverage. If you don't know this trick, I'm going to show you real quick. Take the bigger end, put it in there like that, and now I can make it as a breaker bar and knock it loose, because these are on there pretty tight. See? It gets it loose. I'm going to do that for all four. Alright, you got all four bolts out. Pops right out of there. No, there is not a special way of how this is supposed to go in, but I will say this. You've seen how this part went in. Make sure that you keep up with which way this fan clutch came out. Make sure you don't put it in backwards, because then the fan won't spin right and it will overheat like crazy. Fans goes like this, and the clutch fan went in this way, not this way. Alright, so now we have a problem. Now it may work, I'm about to find out, but you notice how they're spaced apart different, meaning from here to here. See how much closer everything is? They might be the same, but looks like to me that they're different. So go ahead and take this one. You can see how it spins really tight. This one spins tight, but then it breaks loose. Yeah. Shouldn't turn that easy. That turns way too easy. And eventually, if you keep messing with it, it will start just spinning and spinning. Unlike this one's tight. And you can't spin it like that. So go ahead and pop it back in. Line up the bolt holes. Yeah, I guess it will work. And we'll put the new nuts in. Now, if the new bolts didn't come in the kit, you can always use the old ones. I'm sure the old ones are probably the same size. Yes, they are. But it does come with new ones, so I'm going to use the new ones. Another thing too, you can always see which side the bolt was, because this part right here rubs against the fan, and you'll actually see a circle of where these were actually hooked up right. Just in case you get yours backwards and you can't remember which way the fan was facing when you took it apart. Also, mark it. Before you take it apart, mark that thing. Put a mark as, you know, bolts this way or whatever have you. Now these are a different size. I believe these are like 15 mil, or no, these are bigger than that. Some of you might be asking, and this is actually 18 mil. That's the new nut bolt size. Just letting you know, just in case you wanted to know. You can tighten it down. Some of you might want to ask that, do you need Loctite or anything like that on the threads? No, I wouldn't say, because the kit and the directions on the papers do not say anything about putting any kind of stuff on this. So I'm not going to do it. So I'm just going to tighten these down. And okay, so now everything's done. as far as this part. And actually want to make sure that these holes line up with the other, which it does. Just want to make sure before you do all that work, and then it doesn't do what it's supposed to. So now the fun part is these are slotted, as you can see, and it's going to make it so much easier to actually get this guy down in here and onto the pulleys. Come on. Alright, I'm going to take these, put these back on, get them as tight as I can get them, because the whole pulley, water pump pulley in this is going to spin as one until we put the belt back on. But you can't put the belt back on until you get these at least flush good enough to the pump shaft. Because if you don't, then it's going to do kind of like cockeyed. And then you'll never get it right, and you could actually do damage to the water pump. So make sure you put these on first, get it good where it's, you know, flat, good even surface all the way around, then put the belt back on. Alright, now you got the bolts on. What I always like to do is get it to where there's 2 bolts on top, 2 bolts on the bottom, so you can actually get an access to all of them, because the fan is so big it's in the way, and that's just how I like to do it. So now I'm going to go ahead and pop the belt back on. Okay, so now the belt is on and it's back in its place. Fan bolts are tight as I can get them. The water pump and the whole drive system is turning when I try to tighten them down, so it's pretty much just snug, tight as I can get them. So now we're going to put the fan shroud back on, and this is, make sure that these guys right here, grommets that hold the radiator in its place, they go on the corners right here, this line on both sides. Make sure those didn't fall out when you pulled this assembly out of the truck, because if those did, then you got to find them and put them back in, or this job will not work. Smash a finger. That felt nice. Alright, everything's put back together, so I guess fire it up now and see what kind of noise it makes now. It should sound like a big old 18-wheeler when it fires up. That means that the clutch fan's working like it's supposed to. Yep. I believe I call that fixed. Well, I believe that's going to conclude this video. Now, I hope this helps out and repairs whatever you needed done in your vehicle. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, do it anyway. It helps me out, helps you out, get more content like this. And have any questions, comments, criticism, leave them in the bottom. I'll try my best to get to them. And as always, subscribe. And make sure you have the notification bell on, so every time I upload, you get notified. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do stuff like this. Thanks for watching. Have a great day or night. Stay tuned for more content like this.